So these are my nails. They are a bit damaged, but not as much as on my left hand, which is extremely damaged due to nail school and practicing on myself. So I take my 180 grit sanding band and I turn on my machine to 3 rotations per minute, and I put it in reverse and I lightly go over my nail plate, just enough to take off the surface shine and some of the color, just to ease the soak off process for later. And I am very lightly going near the cuticle and down the side walls. I am using my right hand to do most of the movements, also lightly moving the drill bit with my left hand, but not as much. I'm mostly using my right hand to guide myself and just to do the whole work process as carefully as possible, because my left hand is my non-dominant hand and I do not want to put too much pressure onto my nail plate and just dig that drill bit into my nail plate, because I don't want to damage my nail or to damage the drill bit. And then I do the same on my left hand using my dominant hand, my right hand. I just go near the cuticle, go down the side walls and just down the middle as well, buffing off the surface shine and removing some of the color. On my ring finger I did go over the design a bit more because it was a thicker layer. I did add blooming gel, so I just had to go over it a bit more. Then I just take some finger caps, I think that's what they're called. Take some finger caps and I add some cotton and some remover. It is not... You can also use pure acetone, but I prefer this remover more. I guess it dries the skin a bit less, I've noticed. It's a bit more caring for the skin than pure acetone. And then I just put on the caps and wait around 10 minutes. And then I take a cuticle pusher and scrape off the gel that has dissolved, that has lifted up. And if there's anywhere that I can't scrape it off, I just leave it, and later I will buff off or file off, or I'll just re-soak a bit more. As you can see, my nails are pretty damaged on my right hand. I just finished nail school, so we practiced on each other, and then I practiced on myself a lot, and they are quite damaged. It's still growing out because for 3 months I didn't have a break from doing my own nails. Then I do the same for my right hand. I just struggle to scrape them off with the cuticle pusher. I did make a few very deep cuts into my nail plate with the cuticle pusher. I'm very unhappy about that, but there's only so much we can do with our non-dominant hand. And as you can see, my right hand is not as damaged as my left one, only the chipping on my ring finger. Then I just shape my nails. I didn't include the whole process in the video. I was out of camera most of the time. It was tedious, it was annoying. I really hate this process when it comes to short nails. With long nails I love it, but short nails you just don't have enough surface area to work on. Then I buff out where I filed, just to make sure it's more smooth, and I buff out the surface, avoiding the cuticle area because I will go over it later when I use the drill bits to remove the dead cuticle on my nail plate. Then I push my cuticles back using an orange wood stick. I do prefer the wooden stick over the metal pusher because the metal pusher for me keeps on slipping and I keep on making cuts into my nail plate, and I do not like it. Then I am using a flame drill bit. It came with my drill when I ordered it, so I'm not sure what coarseness it is, but it is quite coarse and it is nice. And I am lightly going over my nail plate with minimal speed. It was on 3 rotations per minute. I believe I was on reverse, and I started from the right side over to the left. I went over lifting my dead cuticle first to make sure it's fully off the nail plate, and after that I lightly went over my nail plate to take off the rest of the dead skin that has been stuck on there. I do the same for all of my nails on my left hand. I didn't do it on my right hand because I will damage my nails and I do not want to damage them. So yeah. Then I use this hard brush. I'm not entirely sure what it's called. I just use it to clean the work area. I clean my nail plate near the cuticle to make sure I have clear view of where I'm working and what I'm doing. It is a big mistake to not clean it. You won't have 100% view of what you're doing. You might cut your client, you might cut yourself, you might damage the nail plate. So it is very important to just keep your work area clean. Make sure to dust off that nail plate whenever you're working with the drill bit or just cutting off cuticle or filing. Just clean that area. So I am trimming off all the dead skin, all the cuticle. I am really going in there, removing as much of the dead skin as possible, removing all hangnails and anything that can turn into a hangnail, because I do have a problem with picking my skin, and I have had skin infections due to picking it twice. So if you or your client have this problem, it is very important to do regular manicures and really trim that cuticle well, or anything on the sidewall. Anything that can stick out and cause a hangnail just needs to be removed. I mostly involved clips from my left hand, because on my right hand it was honestly a mess. I was struggling, it was slow. Better to not include that. Now, because I am doing a glitter ombre, I'm gonna use this light blue glitter I got from Shein. I just ordered them recently, I haven't opened them. It is a really nice blue color. And I'm also using the Blue Sky Clear Builder Gel to create a milky white base. I'm just taking a big chunk of the builder gel, making sure that it's enough to cover both my hands, even to have some left over, to make sure I don't have to pre-mix it and create different shades. Then I add a bit of this white from Model Ones. I did add too little, honestly, and I ended up adding like 2-3 more drops later on because it was just too sheer. Then I use a dehydrator to dehydrate my nail plate, remove any oils and any excess dust that might have been still stuck in there. I use acetone and alcohol mix dehydrator. You can also use pure acetone or pure alcohol. And I really get in there. I use a lint-free wipe and I go into the sidewalls, on the top, everywhere, to make sure it's fully dehydrated everywhere. Then I apply a thin layer of primer. So I'm applying very carefully base coat. I go as near the cuticle as possible. I do push my skin back with my other fingers as much as possible to reveal more of the nail plate, and I just go in there carefully without touching my skin. I do this to achieve a more clean look, a more tidy look for when my nails are complete. As I will be applying the glitter as close to the cuticle as possible, after that I apply a very thin layer of clear building gel. You can also use base coat, but I prefer to use the builder gel because it's a more thicker consistency and it is quite cold in my room, so it will stay in there. It won't really drip to the sides like the base coat will. My base coat is quite runny. And I use the orange wood stick. I dampen it in some of the pre-mixed milky white builder gel, and I just pick up some of the glitters slowly and apply them as close to the cuticle as possible without touching the cuticle. I do check throughout the video to make sure I did not touch the cuticle, as I do not want any lifting of this. I don't want any of the glitter to stick out, as it will get caught in my hair, it will get caught in clothes, and honestly it's not nice. I do prefer using an orange wood stick more than a brush because I feel like I have more control over it than with a brush. I've tried to use a detailer brush, I've tried to use a flat, thicker brush, square brush, all type of brushes, but I just don't like. I feel like I don't have enough control over it. While with the orange wood stick, you pretty much do, and you don't have to clean it. You use it, you've used it to push your cuticles, you used it to put on the glitter, you might as well just throw it away. While with the brushes, you will get some glitter stuck in there and you have to clean it, it's more of a tedious process to use a brush. After that, I encapsulate the glitter that has been stuck on there with clear builder gel. Again, with a detailer brush, I make sure I go in there as close to the cuticle as possible, making sure I am not leaving any glitter that is sticking out, to make sure it doesn't get caught anywhere, and to make sure there is no water that will enter inside. After that, I put a very thin layer of the milky white builder gel just to ease the process of when I apply a bigger bead, and I distribute it evenly throughout the nail plate. And again, I am using a detailer brush to push the milky white builder gel close to the side walls at the front, and I do the same with the final clear builder gel that I put in the end. And after that, I encapsulate it in a way. I just put another layer of clear builder gel over the nail plate, just to make sure everything is evened out and I can just drill a bit over it without worrying about destroying the ombre, the milky white, or the glitter. Then I repeat the whole process on my left hand. I didn't do it on my right because, like I said, I can't work with my left hand. It is a nightmare, and I don't want to spend 8 hours just struggling to even do 2 fingers. When you're working so close to the cuticle, it is very important to check throughout your work if you are touching the skin. Lift the skin with the orange wood stick or whatever you can over your finger, just to make sure you're not touching the skin. If you are, just take anything thin like a toothpick or the orange wood stick and just slightly guide that glitter away from your skin, or the gel, just wipe it off with the orange wood stick or whatever you can. Just avoid touching the skin, as this will cause lifting. We all know that Now this blue sky builder gel, I really like it because it is soak off, but it is not as strong as hard gel. So just to keep that in mind. I didn't film it, but in the end I did file them down using a 200 grit sanding band. Just enough to debulk anywhere where it was sticking out to make them a bit more clean. It didn't really require a lot of sanding because I did try to do my best on applying an even layer all throughout. And that's it. I ended up top coating them and that's it.